Hey guys, Richard here. So what I got for you guys today is I picked up a blacksmith special for a Carcano Cavalry. So this is an Italian World War I, World War II rifle. Has a attached bayonet right here. Has an adjustable sight on the top here. Let's actually just test it out really quick. Make sure there's nothing in there. All right. Bolt seems to work fine. I guess I can see what the issue is down here already. It looks like the feed mechanism for the clip doesn't seem to be working. But other than that, it looks like most of everything is in pretty good shape here. I see some few dings and whatnot, but nothing too bad on there. It does also have built-in mounts for a sling, which is pretty cool. So yeah, let's get this thing torn apart and make sure everything is working correctly. I did already pick up some parts from Liberty Tree, so hopefully it's enough to actually get this all fixed up and ready to shoot. So let's go to the workbench and tear this thing apart. Alright, so we have this here at the workbench. We are going to start off by removing the barrel band here. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. There we go. So I'm not really sure what condition this all is in. So I haven't torn this apart yet. We'll kind of take a look at everything, make sure it's okay. Screw seems to be pretty good. There's some gunk on there, but not a big deal. So this should come off. Oh, actually, we need to release the bayonet first. Unlock everything. So this is kind of what I was talking about before. Did a little bit of YouTube research on these things, not a whole lot. But the way that the bayonet is mounted on here and locks into position changes depending on what period or time period that they were made. So at one point there was a couple of different types of locks. But anyways, this push button is closer to the World War II era. So it seems to work pretty well. I mean, it is a pretty simple, I guess, spike bayonet, but whatever. Let's get back to this. Let's pull this off of there. Okay. And then this top handguard should, yeah, it just comes off just like that. So we'll take a look at this. It has a couple of cracks, but I don't think it's a huge issue. Yeah, pretty thin material up here. But yeah, it's not too bad. So into the parts bucket it goes. The next, we're going to take the bolt out of here. All you need to do is hold down the trigger. And again, we did already check this to make sure that the chamber was empty. Pull the bolt up, pull it back, and then it slides right out like that. And we'll tear this apart later as well. Then we're going to flip this like that, and we're going to remove these two screws here. So I'm going to get a slightly bigger bit there. Again, check them out. Yeah, looks okay. It's a little bit of grime on there, but it's not a huge deal. I'm actually going to toss most of this in the ultrasonic cleaner and remove any extra gunk off of here before we reassemble everything back together. Alright, so the rear trigger guard screw comes out there. Looks okay. Again, there's like some gunk and whatnot up there. It's not a huge deal. then this should pop out. If not, I mean, just gonna set it up like that. A little rubber mallet. A couple of love taps. And it should, yep. Ah, actually the arrow came right out of there. There we go. And that pops out just like that. And there we can see the problem that we're having to where the clip feeds in. Looks like a spring plate or something like that is missing from there, but that's okay. So tear this apart in a second. And then let's take a look at the stock. Zoom out a little bit. So it's got manufacturing markings, I think. I don't know what this is here, but I'm not overly concerned about any of that. Again, we have, you know, some dents and little scratches and stuff like that. I don't think it's a big deal. It kind of gives the gun a little bit of character. And then just looking through, it doesn't look like there's any cracks anywhere. So I think we're in pretty good shape for this. Yeah, we'll probably just clean these out a little bit. Put some fresh grease in there. But yeah. And then for here, see if we can take the butt plate off. Screw right there. We have the one on top here. Goes in the parts bucket. Yeah, then we have a little storage area. I do believe these came with a little cleaning rod. I don't think this one came with one. No. So that's fine. But again, I wanted to dig in here and make sure there was nothing weird inside here. But yeah, it looks like everything is pretty darn solid. What we're going to do next, let's pull off the sling mounts. I mean, normally you don't have to do this, like tear everything down, but I kind of like to do it whenever I get a new rifle, just to, you know, give everything a good cleaning, make sure there's no cosmoline stuck in anywhere, especially with these old rifles. And just in general, find them pretty darn cool to see how everything works in there. Let's kind of pop that up and out of there. Try to be very gentle with this. There we go. Yeah, and that's pretty simple. It's just a plate rolled around the bar there. But yeah, it did have some cosmoline stuck in there. So we'll get that all cleaned out and yuck. Yeah, we're gonna clean this out pretty good, so it'll look all fancy when we're done. All right. So, we are done with the stock. Alright, so let's take apart the trigger guard. See what we have going on there. I believe we need a smaller screw for this. Let's And let's zoom in on this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so we'll take apart this screw first. So this is the clip release. Now with these Carcano rifles, you have a clip that you load up. I think this one takes 5 rounds. I don't remember exactly. But you have a clip case like that, you load everything in there, slides down, and when it goes through all the rounds, it'll spit it out the bottom. But if you run into a jam or anything like that, you can just hit this clip release here, and that'll just shoot everything down so you can clear out the chamber, etc. So these didn't come with the gun. I had to pick these up separately. Throw those off to the side for now. So that one is unscrewed. Then we have this back here, which this should be for that clip spring. And that doesn't seem to be working. So pop these out with a punch. I'm just going to put my hand over here so, because there is a spring in here, I don't want it flying everywhere. Just pop it out like that. There you go. Then we got our 3 pieces for that. There's the lock and also the little button for it. You have the spring that fits right inside of there. There's a little indent there that fits inside. And then just the pin that holds it all together. And then for this side, push that through. Oh, still needs a little bit of unscrewing. Okay, should be able to push it through now. Yeah, there we go. Falls right out. So threads look really nice on these. So I don't think this was used all that much. Alright. Then looks like this whole mechanism pushes out from there. Let's look at the spare one that I got. So I went ahead and just bought a whole new mechanism for it just in case. So it looks like that fits up into there, and then that right there locks into place down here. So I should be able to push right on the back of there with a punch, and it should just come right out. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, so, I mean, the new one that I got is pretty caked in cosmoline, but, yeah, I'm pretty sure this bar, yeah, you can even feel the spring right there. So there's probably either a spring underneath here that's missing, or some type of spring plate. I can't really see it from this. And this is just purely caked. So I'm going to throw this in the cleaner after we get this all torn apart, and we'll be able to take a better look. I am going to try to keep as much of the parts from this. So like the bar here, I think that should still be good. I mean, this one, I think I would just need to steal the spring from there, and I'll keep the rest of it for spare parts for later. Anyways, so that can go off to the side for now. So that's it. That's pretty simple. So that's all torn apart now. Toss these in the parts box. Then next, we are going to look at removing the bayonet. Now, it does look like there's just one single screw here. Now, the front side is mounted on a plate. Yeah, it's just mounted in on the side there. So I think if I just undo that screw there, should loosen it up enough to remove the whole thing. Okay, so I can already feel this, that it's that the screw is not turning and instead deforming, putting pressure on there. So I'm not going to take that apart. I mean, I don't really need to. The bayonet seems to be going in and out just fine by itself. So there really isn't a reason to take this off. And I mean, if you really wanted to go through and get this all clean, you could just, I mean, if you have an ultrasonic cleaner, just toss the whole thing in there. It'll clean all that gunk out. If you're using brake cleaning fluid, just spray it down in there and let it evaporate and then re-grease everything up. But yeah, I'm not really going to worry about removing this off of there. I think it's going to be fine the way it is. So let's just leave that the way it is. I'm not sure that without removing the bayonet, I don't believe we can actually get the barrel ring off of there. So we'll leave this as well. Again, it's not a big deal. You just clean around it. For the rear sights, there is 2 screws here that look like we could pull it off of there. Again, I'm going to try to remove it, and if it looks like there's no give in it, then I'm just going to leave it. Because again, sights seem to be moving fine. And there's not really a reason to remove it unless there was a problem with it. Oh, yeah, these ones are moving okay. But again, like I said, I like to tear stuff apart. So we'll just see how far I can go without completely destroying the gun. Okay, that's pretty caked. Okay, so those ones came off all right. All right. I think, yeah, that looks okay. Yep, and that whole thing just comes off there. There's a lot of gunk in there. That's fine, we can fix that. Now there is the little screw here. I believe if I pull that off of there, this whole thing will pop out. Yeah. There we go. That screw comes off of there. Again, the threads look really nice on here. I don't see much damage or anything like that. So that's the bar that connects to a piece down here that has tension on it that holds everything together. And then that whole thing should just slide out. Or maybe not. Actually not seeing a way for this to come off of there. I'm almost pretty sure, because there's a little tiny spot down here. I'm almost wondering if there's like a small pin in there. Nah. Oh, maybe. Maybe it just punches through once and then it's there forever. Anyways, I can't see anything. There's too much grease in there. So we'll see what it looks like when it's cleaned. All right. Next, we'll go to the trigger assembly. So for this, let's take a look. On where that's connecting. So it's not this piece right here, because that's flared on both ends. Maybe that one do. Okay. Ah, you know what? It's right here. There's a pin on the side here. I'm pretty sure we can punch through. I think that's what releases everything. Because there's a flared end on that side, so imagine that whole thing pops out, releases, and then the trigger comes out. So let's give it a pop here and see what happens. Yeah, that's got some give in it. Again, I've never owned one of these rifles before, so I'm not 100% how everything goes together. So we are kind of learning this together. Okay, so the whole pin comes out. Drop that there. I think, yeah, the whole thing slides out then. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, because this is pretty simple. It's just got a couple of little levers on there to keep everything moving along. So, yeah. Cool. So again, we're not going to be able to remove this piece because it's flared on either side. To permanently stick in there. I don't believe this piece is meant to come out either, because it looks like it's flared a little bit on this end. And we don't really need to touch that because it's just a solid piece sticking in there. So, anyways, parts bucket it goes. We'll get it all cleaned up. So, that means that this, as much as I want to take it, the barrel is all disassembled. Alright, next, we're going to work on the bolt. So, let's take a look on how to take this apart. So there's a little indent there. Ah, yeah. Okay, so we can undo the cap on the end here. Okay, so that was holding that in place. Alright. Now that that is out of the way, apparently just comes off of there like that. Yeah, so I guess that was locked in place by the cap and then just pops off of there with a little bit of pressure. That's what I'm guessing anyways. And then for this, so what I'm guessing I'm going to have to do is push this down, twist it around, and then I do believe this whole assembly will come up and allow me to take it apart the rest of the way. So let's see if that works. Okay. Is that went through there? Ah, and there's a little down here. There's a little tiny channel in there, and I'm going to try to feed that through. Yeah, just like that. Ah, there we go. And that's the safety. It's not very good. I'll show you this later. It's kind of a pain in the butt to use. I mean, it is functional, but it's just not good. Parts bucket. We have our spring here, which seems in pretty good condition. And there we have the firing pin. And that's all one big piece. Cool. And for here, so I'm just looking to see how dirty it is down there. Not sure how well you can see it, but it's not too bad. Maybe you can see it better like that. Yeah, it's not too bad. But I mean, we're gonna clean it up regardless. But in general, I'm pretty impressed on how well this has what do I want to say? How well this has held up over the years. Yeah. Alright, so I think that is basically everything torn apart. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these pieces, throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then we'll come back and we'll reassemble everything. Of course, I got my clips here. I also have a sling that is supposed to be a recreation of the original. So we'll get everything attached there and get it oiled up and should be good to go. Punch these right out of here. Then I could put them in the ultrasonic cleaner and get them very nice and clean. Yep, and they punch right out of there. So there's that. Okay, so that piece came out. I want to actually suggest taking that out. Got a little bit of chipping in the wood there, but it's not bad. So, but I did want to take this out and clean it, so while the ultrasonic cleaner is still warming up, we'll have that to throw in there. And we'll just punch out this one. The barrel brace and everything right here, and that was in there as well. So I'm going to end up throwing these in the cleaner as well, along with the bolt or the bolt holder back here. So I did try to clean it out with brake fluid cleaner, but it just wasn't taking care of the grime. So we're just going to get a much better clean out of it by taking it out of there, and then we'll replace it and put it back in there later. Alright, so now this is our old piece that part of the clip mechanism, and this is the part that was broken. So we zoom in. Alright, so here we have the two pieces. This is the new one that I just got, and this is the old piece right here. So what it looks like is there's a plate that runs underneath here that connects to this right here. So I imagine what happened is at some point that seared off of there and popped out, and that's why it's not feeding correctly anymore. But there's a ton of cosmoline. So even with the ultrasonic cleaner, I couldn't clean out all of the cosmoline from here. So I sprayed it down with a little bit of brake cleaner, which you can actually use instead of an ultrasonic cleaner. It'll chemically remove everything out of there. But this was so much caked that even sitting there in there for an hour didn't remove it all. So we're going to have to go in there and use some elbow grease, clean that out. I'm actually going to try to pop the pin off of here and fit that back inside there, because I want to use this, almost all the original stuff if I can, and just put that new plate in there if that's all that's wrong with it. So let's try to pop it out and see if we can replace that. And that one pops out just fine. Yuck. Alright, so it should just be a plate comes up out of there. So we're trying to take the plate out of there. It's pretty caked in there, and it should be able to fold out from right here. Alright, so first let's pop this pin out. Now that we know that it should just pop straight out and this is just being difficult, so I think we might have to replace this pin as well. That might have been maybe part of the issue. That one is pretty straight, and the old one is bent a little bit. So we're gonna end up tossing the old one and keeping the new one. Now we just need to get the spring plate out of there. Alright, so I'm going to have to bring this to the vise in the other room and try to take it out of there that way. So I will be right back when that is out. Alright, so got it out of there. So you can see just how much gunk was caked in there. So yeah, it was basically just, it was stuck in there. So I had to go in there with a couple of screwdrivers and basically just shimmy it out. Now we should be able to clean all this up and get it fitting correctly to the old casing. And before we go any further, let's just test this to make sure everything fits in okay. That plate fits down in there like that. And then that should fit in there like that. Then should just press down, fit into place. We have our new bolt right here. All right. Again, probably going to take a little bit of elbow grease, but you know what? Better yet. Look, I'm learning along with you guys, so I'm going to take a punch here, grip it around here. Look at that. That almost works. Alright, so we figured out why this new bolt won't go into this assembly. So if you look right here, that head will not go in at all. And as far as here, small end won't go in that side. So this is just slightly too small. So as much as I would like to reuse this, I don't think it's going to be possible because I would have to file all this out. And so it's either filing all this out or cleaning all of this out. So let's try the filing first, and if that doesn't work, we can always come back to this. Okay, so this, okay, so this was the new one. So that one goes in there now. And then, just need to get that one to fit. I think it should just be a slight amount of filing. There. Yeah, now it all fits in there nicely. Okay, so we can use this new pin. Let's pop that out. Ugh. Alright. I'm just actually going to grease up the sides on here. So so that spring is not getting any tension from the sides of this. Pop that back down in there. Alright, where'd it go? There it is. I'm gonna lube this up again. Alright, now we should be able to use this. Squeeze that in. Just put that around there so it's not scratching anything up. There. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Ah, got it. There we go. I just tap it in a little bit. This. There we go. And that is all repaired. Look at that. Working all perfectly now. Alright, so that means all of our stuff is greased up. It's all working now. We can lay this out. I'm going to clean this up a little bit and then we'll do reassembly. Before while cleaning, we took out little metal tubes here that are used for holding in the bolts. They go from the barrel all the way down to the trigger assembly. So we're going to replace those first. Let's just dump out our parts bucket. Alright, so first things first. Should be this little brace right here. So that gets popped in down there. Like that. And then, as for that side, there should be a short tube here. There we go. Short tube. That one goes in there. There we go. We have the longer one that goes in through here. There we go. It's nice and flush. Perfect. All right. Then we'll put back the sling mount. Pop that in there. I do believe that all of these screws are about the same. Just gonna double check. Yeah. Alright, let's put in the sling mounts. So I just noticed this has a little bit of grime on there, so just clean that off quick. Yeah, that should be good now. This in there. One goes here. Now I'm just kind of wiping off all the excess oil that was on there from before. Just so. So I did kind of oil it up pretty good. And that's just because I wanted to make sure that it got oil into every little nook and cranny. Because putting it in that ultrasonic cleaner really, really strips everything of it. Of any of the oil that was on there before. And we don't want that to rust later on. Alright, so next we're going to install the butt plate. So that's this piece right here. And we did take this off before. So we need to put that back on. Get it the rest of the way. And that just needs to move over just a tiny tad. Now, yep, now that pops open and closed just fine. Pop it onto the back here. There are 2 screws. There we go. So that is all ready to go. So we'll put that off to the side for now. Yeah, let's do our trigger assembly and also the clip assembly. Don't need that yet. We do need this that we just fixed up. So that is going to slide in right here. Actually, it slides down like this and then slides into place. Yeah, just like that. So go at an angle, bring it down. If you need to, a couple whacks with a hammer, pop it into place. Then these ones are using those little flat screws. But we need a slightly smaller head on there. There we go. And then the clip release. So We're going to pop our spring into there. Button goes through here, line everything up. There's a little indent in both the trigger guard and also in the clip release button. So you should be able to just kind of feel it and get it in there. And then I'll normally just take a punch, put it in there, like that, and then pop through the screw. I'm actually going to put a drop of oil down in there, just get it nice and lubricated, and then I'll feed it through the rest of the way. And hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier to release the clip from there. And we just need a screwdriver. There. There. Trigger guard and clip assembly. It's all put together. So, next we're going to put the bolt together. So let's get all of our pieces that we need. Should be everything there. So, we are going to clean the threads a little bit on here. They were still just a little bit grimy. Much better now. Alright. Just pop that in there. Spring goes there. Now the safety should slide in, and remember there is a little channel from before, and there's a tab on the top of the safety there. So what we're going to do is push it down and slide it over. Yeah, because basically the channel runs from right here, goes down, and then over to the side, right there. There we go. Now locks into place. We can actually push it down all the way. Put it back into that position right there. And then should be able to slide this right on top of there. I think it just kind of sits on top right there. Then this cap I think will just help screw everything down. There you go. So that drops into place. And the cap can come all the way down, and then there's just a little notch right there. That pops into place. And that should be it for the bolt assembly. Next we have the barrel, and first thing we're going to do is pop in the trigger mechanism, which is right here. So, there's a few parts to it. That slides into place there, and that goes there, and then this slide up like that. Ah, okay. So needs to slide in just like that. There's this spring that goes on top of there. Alright. Then we'll take this, and that piece pops in like that. You got that piece there. Goes into the side like that, and then everything pops in. Oops. Oops. Wrong way. Goes that way. There you go. All pops in like that, and then this goes in from the side. Should just lock right into place right there. There we go. So then you have that little tab there, and we'll just give that a little smack. It's good to go. And we'll just test it. Yeah, seems to be okay. Just like that. And then put on the rear sights next. So rear sights right there. And for that we had this little mechanism here. Popped in like that. And then popped into place there. There's a little screw that went in right there. You can get it lined up correctly. There we go. That screws in like that, which allows you to release that. Push it in, that pulls back this release bar, and then you can adjust your yardage on there. So, need to put that halfway back up. And that slides top of there. And screws in from the other side. So we have 2 screws, both the same size, so it doesn't matter. Pop both of them in like that. And I'm going to swap out this flathead to something that's just exactly the right size of the screws, so I can screw them down all the way. There. And the barrel is all assembled again. Alright, so now we can take our barrel, We need to extend the bayonet so it doesn't get in the way. So, I'm going to pop the barrel in here. Remove that barrel ring out of there. Line everything up like that. Should be fitting decently in there. We flip that over. We pop in our trigger guard and clip assembly. Just like that. Should go into place, and then the long screw goes in the back. It's a little bit rough for some reason, but we'll just add some oil on there, make it go down there nice and smooth. And then, short screw goes in the front. Again, we'll oil that up a little bit. There we go. Alright. Then, need our handguard piece. The upper handguard. Put it on the right way, of course. There we go. There's the right way. And that'll slide on top of everything, just like that. You may need to give it a little tap with the mallet. Yep, and it's going through all the way, so should be fine there. Put that through there. Tighten that down. Refold the bayonet back in. Then, just like before, put the bolt back in. Actually, before we put the bolt in, I'm going to take some oil and just put it along here just to help, again, lube everything up. These bolts are normally pretty stiff, so So it's nice just to give it a little assistance. So again, put the bolt in, you pull the trigger, slide it forward. And it should be going. Nope. Ah, okay. Alright, so I finally figured out what was going on with this. Alright, so pretty much the same as before. Put your firing pin in. Put your spring down like that. And then your safety is going to pop in following the guide slot right there with the little pin that's right there. Just press that down, slides over, and then you're going to want to lock the safety pin all the way over here. So just press down, slide it over. Alright, next we're going to have to slide this down so that this piece right here catches into this notch right here. But in order to do that, we need to align this flat piece so that the little nub that's in here lines up with the flat piece. So if we're going down like that, the flat piece is going to be exactly the opposite. So you can just take the firing pin and twist that so that it's facing the opposite way. And then you'll be able to slide this down there you go. You'll be able to slide it down like that. And then you take your cap, pop that on all the way. Now, here's the part that I wasn't getting before. So there's a little notch right there that for the slide here, we need to get that internal catch that's down in that big divot right there. It needs to catch back up here. So we need to pull this out, twist it, and have it lock up there. So we're going to pull, twist, and lock it, just like that. And basically what it is in order to be able to slide this back in, it needs to be in the ready to fire position, which is what this is right here. So now that we zoom out, we can now pull the trigger, slide this in, let go of the trigger, and there we go. Now everything lines up and fires. So that seems to be working okay now. So this is mostly all put together, but we are missing a couple last final touches. Bear with me as I put this together. So now this goes through there. This should be. It's just a little bit tight. There we go. That goes all the way through. And that goes through there like that. Ah, look at that. Okay. And that goes on there like that. Yeah, there we go. It's getting done. Little by little. Rounded side goes to the outside. There's that. Almost got it. There we go. Look at that. Finally, pops in there. There we go. So, this is all put back together now. To go through and adjust this little piece here to go on the back side here to kind of hold the sling all together. But yeah, it's working a lot nicer now. The bolt is a lot more smooth than what it was before. I have a couple of clips that hopefully next week I'll be able to bring this guy out and test fire it. I did also check down the bore, and I did not see any pitting or anything like that, and the rifling does look really good in there. So I'm pretty sure this is all good to shoot.
For videos like this, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitch in the description below. Until next time, take care of yourselves.